Nairobi. Right, we want to just draw your attention to what we have on the touch screen. And I want Miguna Miguna to comment on this because we're discussing about counties. And this is where also you are looking for a seat in Nairobi County. Your response, your reaction?
I think today all the cartoonists captured the spirit and actual, factual depiction of what is happening in almost all the counties. So for Nairobi, we have two adults wearing diapers who have no clue as to what it is that they are even being sworn to do. And so you can see the amazement of everyone, including the so-called rescue team. Everybody is amazed at the cluelessness of these two. They are dancing in diapers. And I don't care if they keep their whatever as long as they clean up Nairobi. But everybody knows they can't clean up Nairobi.
But they've started cleaning up Nairobi.
No, they haven't. You see, the media gets overwhelmed by PR exercises. So a few people turn up in CBD carrying plastic bags and putting litter in the plastic bags. And all of a sudden you say they're cleaning up Nairobi. They're not cleaning up raw sewer. They're not cleaning up solid waste. I mean, that's not cleaning up anything. That's not how you do a solid waste management system. It's not just a few litter here and there. So when you look at all the cartoons, for example, in the Daily Nation, the cartoon talks about not just a rickety car. The vehicle is completely out of service. It cannot move. And then you look at the Star, it is basically an animal being sworn in as a governor. So we are in deep trouble as a country. The elections have been a sham, not to the extent that these people have not been elected. I'm not saying they have not been elected, some have. But the point is, who have we elected as governors and their deputies? In Nairobi, for instance, clearly the depiction by Gado is that these two do not know what they are supposed to be doing.
All right, okay.
And so they have no agenda.
All right.
They are not capable even of dressing up. They have not even worn proper clothing.
All right, let's hear from Philip Kisia. You are the town clerk of Nairobi as well. Did you wear diapers like they did also as well? You can tell us today if you wore diapers.
No, first of all, let me congratulate all those people who have been entrusted by different counties to lead their counties. That's the wish of the people, and we must just accept and find a way of working with those who have been elected. But I think I don't want to underscore the points that Miguna has raised. I think probably in future, as a country, we may consider relooking at the office of the governor and finding out the qualities that are required of that office holder. I think right now the qualities and the requirements are so weak that can invite anybody. And the only requirement is that probably you need to have a university degree that is recognized in the Republic of Kenya. And then you leave it to wananchi to decide. I think what you can do, we can't blame those who have been elected because they've been elected by the people. I think Linturi is headed to the Senate. They need to review that particular chapter that deals with the qualities of leadership that are required at the county level.
All right. Linturi, your reaction?
You know, me, I'm a subject of the will of the people. And I would want to say that it doesn't matter. Whatever legislation, whatever law you come or think about on how to regulate the kind of leaders will be elected. To me, it will be a violation of the sovereign right and the will of the people to put unreasonable conditions or restrictions on who should be elected to office. Let the Kenyan mwananchi, in fact, I'm even a person who does not believe that you must put any qualification on anybody who is being elected. You must leave the people to elect whoever they want. What we need to be looking at are the values that we need to instill in our children or in our people that are running for office. Our value system is what is lacking. Because when we get those things right, then we'll have fixed most of the problem. Look at it this way. in Debarl, people went, don't condemn, don't blame anybody that has been elected. I was just reading this piece of paper, this paper today, and the Turkana MCA elect has been, somebody has been elected who has never gone to any class, and many others. So it is not about the school that you've gone to that will make you get elected.
Yes.
It's how you connect with the mwananchi, and that makes the own difference. And that's why I believe when the Constitution of Kenya, and especially on Article 73(2)(a), you know, gives the parameters of how one is supposed to get to any office, and they say clearly, they say clearly, any appointed positions or state officers appointed will only be appointed on suitability, competencies, and integrity. And the other one they will say, they also tell you, or, the one that I'm stressing here is, or through fair and free elections. So any position that will require the mwananchi to make a decision on, or any position that requires the mwananchi to decide,
yes,
you cannot put conditions.
Okay.
So what you see is a reflection of what the mwananchi is. So if you have a bad governor, or you have a bad senator, or a member of parliament, blame it on the mwananchi that cast his ballot.
So being actually, you know, the class knowledge and the street wisdom, they are diametrically different.
No,
this is the position
see,
actually.
I strongly disagree with the Honorable Linturi. We are a relatively poor country. We are underdeveloped. We are a country where nearly 75% of our youth are unemployed. The poverty rates are very high. There is food insecurity. There is a problem with housing. There are so many problems we have. So to say that we should allow the public to elect anybody regardless is to say that this problem should not be sorted out or solved. Because if it is just about popularity without any restrictions as to who is to elect, and you know we are a country governed by the rule of law, and the rule of law says, chapter 6, that a person who seeks public office must have integrity, for instance. And then you have instances where thieves and plunderers have been elected into public office because our institutions and people that are put in those positions to ensure that we have leaders of integrity have not taken action. Then you have leaders who are completely incompetent. There are leaders who have not even gone to university, who have bought their degrees and cannot understand legislation, public policy, or anything to do with public service. So therefore, even if they are popular, these people should and ought not be allowed to occupy public office. It happens around the world. Democracy is not just the ability to win elections. It is within the ambit of the rule of law. In the United States, for instance, a lot of these governors and a lot of our leaders would not be able to run for public office because of the kind of evidence that has come up, either in judicial processes or procedures, or through public institutions mandated to conduct investigations on their conduct. And I'm saying the reason why these cartoonists are laughing at us, and these cartoonists are Kenyans. Gado is a Kenyan, originally from Tanzania. This cartoonist in the Nation, in the Star, is a Kenyan. Yeah, Munene is a Kenyan. These are not aliens. These are Kenyans who are looking at whom you have elected and are saying, if you expect these guys to deliver water, to deliver infrastructure, to deliver jobs, then you are joking, because how do you elect a kid on diapers and you expect solid waste management?
All right, just a moment.
To be introduced in Nairobi? Allow me ask.
Let's hear from Kisia. We'll come to you. Let's hear from Kisia.
I think really, let me first of all say that somehow I agree with both. But agreeing with both does not say that I'm taking a middle position. One, the position as currently constituted requires that you have certain qualifications, and the next thing is that the will of the people then takes the day. But I think moving forward, and if we think that devolution is something that is very important in this country. There is need to relook at that office. If indeed the governor is the chief executive officer of the county, then the qualifications must be raised. The specifications of that person or office holder must be raised. Because you need somebody with sound management skills, sound leadership skills, integrity, and other values that society think are necessary to move the office forward. You need somebody who can, even go through budgets and comment. You need somebody who can read strategic plans and ensure that he is able, or that the person should have capacity to monitor, evaluate, and comment. So, as currently constituted, that's the will of the people, and maybe it's a reflection of the society. Yeah. So, because it is not one person who voted these people in, it is so many people. And are we saying that, there are some who came in the landslide, 65%? Are we saying that 65% of the Kenyans, really do not understand what?
They don't.
So I think to save Kenyans, the specifications of that particular office need to be relooked at, so that you make it easy for Mananchi when you have a clear time frame.
But this election has taught us that there is a big disconnect between maybe the people who we purport to be, elitist or educated and have degrees behind the names and titles behind the names, and people who can connect with the common Mananchi. Because people want to elect leaders who resonate, and they have their issues at heart.
I said, Debarl, I said it's not just about managementship or leadership. You need both. You need skills in management. You need skills in leadership. But are there other qualities that we can look at so that when developing the specification of that office, we make it better?
But what really disqualifies the governor-elect right now? What really disqualifies him in the first place? Yeah, he's qualified. He's gone to. Yes. He has a degree, right? What do you think that it makes him not?
He has a fake degree.
That is not has not been actually.
He has a fake degree. Whether we cover it up, whether we sugarcoat it, the fact is he has a fake degree.
But the fact is,
did you see his registration form when he went to that university? Have you looked at his transcripts? Does he know what he studied? He doesn't even understand what he studied. But when we went for a gubernatorial debate,
yes,
he couldn't even say what law he's going to operate under. He did not even identify what courses he did. This is a semi-functional man.
Just a moment. A straight question to Miguna. Yes, you also were running for this particular office.
Yes.
Why did you challenge this in court?
But listen, I will answer you. Prosecutorial powers are not with the private citizen. That is the job of the police, the job of the EACC, and the job of the DPP. These are criminal offenses these people committed. Fraud is a criminal offense. You see, it is very sad that the journalists and the media houses have not clued in to the fact that this man has a criminal record. A person who has a criminal record should not be allowed to stand. He has admitted he has a criminal record. So on what basis was he allowed to stand? He did not appeal, and there was no pending appeal. He has a criminal record. So you could be very popular with a criminal record. There are a lot of criminals all over the world who are very popular.
Right.
In Colombia, in Congo, DRC Congo. I mean, the courts are full of popular people.
No, we have to cut short.
So popularity is not well enough.
Miguna has personal interest in this matter. He competed against. He competed against Sonko and understand his emotion, right? And
these are not emotions.
No, the way you talk, I can really feel you having lost
it's
to Sonko.
Passion.
Yeah, the passion of having lost to Sonko
your point,
is manifesting itself now.
Yes.
But allow me say this: as long as our forms of the manner in which our governments are being formed, or the process of forming governments in this country, because it's supposed to be democratic, then we must allow the sovereign will of the people that really to prevail. And I think when the people have made a decision, and you agree with me, you may not agree with me on television, that the issues that you want to bring
I
in...
don't agree with you even outside the television.
No,
You finish your point.
You don't know what I will be sharing with you after
During breakfast.
After leaving this place, you may not know what I will be raising. But I'm saying, let us respect the will of the people. Let us give Sonko an opportunity to serve the people of Nairobi. The people of Nairobi have decided. And please, I would invite you to look at the Constitution, especially on that Article 73(2)(a). We may want to bring so many issues about how we would want things done. But these things must, because you spoke about the rule of law, then they must be done within the rules that govern us as at now. And in fact, my view
A
is
criminal conviction is a criminal conviction.
Let him finish, please.
Now you're interfering with my thought process. If, for example, we should be more worried about the policy makers or the legislators, because they are the people that come up with the law and the major policies that are supposed to be implemented by governors and the others. In my view, that is where we must really concentrate, because if we make a mistake in fixing, in making the law in the wrong way, then we will continually have these problems. Miguna, I know the Constitution as is today, and why these issues will continue coming is because we also let up the civil society and the elitist class. You know, some of them will never have gotten to any office without really having to put very many conditions that were not at the reach of the common mwananchi. But I will tell you, having been elected 3 terms uninterrupted, the mwananchi in this country is not concerned, is not bothered about what stories we want to bring around. He wants to have a leader who connects with him and a leader who can deliver service. I know there are better leaders, there are better people out there. Look at when this country was formed. We are under a less literate cabinet. And the foundations in terms that was laid for this country.
They were all literate.
No, from that time up to now, our cabinet has continually grown, the literacy levels have continually grown. But when you look at what was done some time back by those less literate cabinets, that the foundation was better, and the service delivery at times was even better, and corruption was less.
Thank you.
Right? So it's not about how educated the cabinets. I think it's also passion.
Right, Philip Kisia.
I think let us not be personal about any governor who has been elected. There are 47. I don't know why the focus should be Sonko, but probably if you mirrored other governors, you'll even find worse. We had a governor before Sonko who has a better CV. In fact, a doctor, and I even know he has an MBA, like most of us do. But I think if you had to grade him, and I have nothing personal against Odhiambo, but I'll give him 2 out of 10. I think he failed, despite all the qualifications that fall after his name. So, in my view, what we need are 2 things. One, and I've said earlier, to review the specifications that are required for that particular job. Because it is not just about your education, it's about your management skills, do you have them, if any? It's about leadership skills and other qualities that are required for that particular job. Number 2, the voter who is electing the so-called leader, and I doubt whether there's anything like a leader, but the person who intends to provide leadership, are the voters who are electing aware of the magnitude of that particular office, or they just vote based on party, based on popularity, based on tribe? I think if those 2 things were done, probably in future we are likely to have better caliber CEOs running the counties.
Right. Of interest also, I would want to ask you is the fact that we know 25 million shillings was actually set aside for this particular assumption of office of the governors all over the country. Sonko rejected these, other governors have rejected these, other governors have gone still ahead to actually make do with the 25 million shillings. Do you think, starting from that point, because we want to also explore deeply.
We are going to.
There is an issue also of the transition, because we know we've not even been given any any revelation on actually the sort of assets maybe they've left the previous governors? Because this also was a big issue with the transitional authority, the defunct transitional authority. We were never told on the assets that the county, not really the county, but it was the county wards, the city councils,
and municipalities.
Municipalities as well. When actually they inherited this, it was never revealed to the public what sort of assets these particular municipalities had that were being inherited by the governors. And the same thing is happening right now. We do not know from what point are they picking on, so that they could be a very robust audit as well.
But Debarl, I want to comment very quickly on two things that my colleagues have said. The issue is not education in terms of academic papers, although that is in the Constitution, that anyone seeking to be a governor and a deputy governor must have a university recognized in Kenya. So it must be from a legitimate institution. So that's a constitutional requirement. It's not just a whim, and it is important. It is important because governance requires that you have to be competent. You have to be able to understand your legal and constitutional remit. And you must be able to understand policy. And as Kisia said, you have to be able to go through, strategic plans and whatnot, and to be able to execute. But more importantly is integrity. Yes, Evans Kidero may have had the degrees, but he lacked integrity. His personal integrity has been in question for more than 20 years. He left Mumias in shambles. He left it bankrupt. He's bankrupted, in my view, according to the Auditor General. He has bankrupted Nairobi. It's no longer a going concern. Now you are putting someone who not only lacks the academic, intellectual, and mental capacity, he is also as corrupt as Evans Odhiambo Kidero, and in fact has a criminal record. These are not personal things. They are actually very important ethical issues. Should Kenya continue to have leaders without integrity just because they are popular? In Colombia, drug dealers are very popular because they sell drugs, they destroy communities, but then they come back with the money to do some PR exercises in their neighborhoods. So once you impoverish a community, a society, to the extent that the majority of the youth have no means of income and cannot have a livelihood, then any demagogue, any crook can come with handouts and turn these guys into voting robots, which is what is happening in this country. We cannot have a country, and I'll say this without any fear of contradiction, we cannot have a country where all you need is demagoguery. All you need are billions and billions of money to give to unemployed poor youth so that they can vote for you. And then you call that the will of the people. An ignorant person has no will. You can only be acting in a willful manner when you know what you are doing. But if you are you are addicted to drugs, you are addicted to alcohol, you are completely ignorant, you are very poor and therefore cannot make a wise decision, you have no will.
Right.
Now, to your question.
Okay.
Yes.
Can we hear from Linturi? We'll come back to you.
I think, I think this is
these are not personal things.
This is why I think my friend
Miguna.
my friend Miguna will permanently be losing elections because he's too academic on some things. And I want to advise you, my brother. When you talk about people that are poor cannot express their will, to me, that's what you've said. Because you are saying they will be influenced. You will be influenced by some money here and there. Please, you hand elections where. Let me give an example. My member of parliament today is John Paul. He's 23 years old. He competed against people that earned money. The boy could not raise 10,000 shillings.
Yes, I know that.
Yes,
yes,
and the people
that is
elected
an exception. That is the kind of leader I'm looking
but
for.
now I'm telling you, you may give money to the voter,
yes,
because I believe my constituency has relatively very many poor people, right? And yet they get the money, but vote on this boy. So it will not be right to suggest or insinuate that in Nairobi, probably, because that's where you're in, and that is the area that you may understand better or more than any other, that voted for the team, Sonko team and the Gade, because we were given money. To me is wrong.
You are denying,
Debarl,
you see,
Debarl, I think
he's denying something that is so obvious.
Yeah.
If Obama came to Kenya today and ran against Sonko in the 2017 election, a lot of people admittedly say Obama would lose. Not because he's not a good leader. What I'm trying to tell you here is this, and we cannot run away from it. We must start approaching the issue of leadership on the basis of competence, on the basis of integrity, on the basis of merit. It cannot be populism. The country will not be able to transform itself from a third world country to a developed country when we keep on churning out ignorant people who have money to
Thank you. Let's hear from Philip Kisia.
Carry out as if they're leaders.
But populism also is a big factor as well.
Very
We have a popular
You ask
vote
for
and of course
papers
the
and
electoral
employers will become all the papers
the electoral
that are
college they
required
use.
for a job.
Philip
Debarl,
Kisia. All right, thank you. Let's hear
Debarl,
from.
we need some order here. I think that there are two issues that you brought up that have not been addressed. The first one, if I understood you correctly, was the issue of the budget, for assumption of office.
You
And the
said
assets as well.
You said we deal with that later.
25 million. No, Miguna, give me time. 25 million. I don't even want to comment on that for two reasons.
Yes.
One, that is an insignificant amount we should not be talking about. But in terms of, if I had to look at it from a management perspective, what were the assumptions to budget? Can I see how they arrived at 25 million for Nairobi County, vis-a-vis Tharaka, Nithi, and so on and so forth? How did they arrive at that figure?
Yes.
I think that is important. Number two, the issue of asset management, I think is very critical. Some of us tried to set up asset listing. I think Linturi is getting into Senate. It is very, very important and paramount that all counties, by the end of the second devolution cycle, have asset registers in place. Because how do you prepare your accounts if you don't have your asset listing? How, if you've not valued your assets?
Yeah.
Those accounts should be qualified.
Yes.
Finally, I still insist that moving forward, we need two things. One, the specifications and requirement of the office of the governor need to be raised so that even when people are making choices, they are making choices for people who are qualitative, who are quality. Secondly,
But raised to what are we looking for? I think it's well stipulated in the constitutions.
No. You see, the only requirement here is Chapter 6, which of course again was watered down. Number two, that you need to have a university degree. What I'm saying is we need to sit down and look at other requirements of a chief executive officer running a county and engrave them into the Acts of Parliament so that you limit the people who can run for that particular office. The last thing that I want to talk about, and I talked about earlier, it doesn't matter how poor people are. In my view, it really doesn't matter. So long as those people are properly educated, they are given voter education, they are told these are the qualities of people you must be looking for. You must be looking for integrity, you must be looking for management skills, you must be looking for leadership skills, and so on and so forth. So that the voter is guided and makes decision based on a certain parameter. But right now it is too open. And that is why you're having probably people who really don't have the necessary skills being elected.
All right. Back to the issue of...
But let me comment and to what my brother says before Miguna comments, if you allow me. You know, when you look at that executive office, either of the president or the governor, those are the basic requirements. But, you know, you cannot know everything. And that's why I think in the law, we allowed for the president and the governor to pick a cabinet or his executive committee. So that where you feel you may have weaknesses in terms of capacity weaknesses of the individuals to assist you in the proper execution of your mandate, then you are able to pick people with those competencies. So to me, there's an adequate provision, unless somebody really does not want to get the right people to assist him in the management.
Debarl, I agree. I agree to a certain extent that as a manager or somebody who's providing leadership at the top, if you realize that you have certain skills gaps, you then fill them by inviting people who can assist you in dealing with that gap. However, the person at the top needs to have capacity to provide that leadership, need to have capacity to understand and direct and lead the people who are below him or her.
Thank you.
If you don't have that, if you don't have that capability and skills, you may end up just being a failure, even with a good team.
I understand. I agree with Kisia, but the flip side is this: psychologically, a lot of people who feel inferior intellectually are also the type that would not want capacity in their offices because it will expose them as incompetent. You don't want to be an illiterate, functionally illiterate or incompetent leader. Then you surround yourself with very bright people. You will stick out like a sore thumb. So they would avoid bright people. And that is what has happened in the country. Anyway, to comment on the budget and the assets.
Yes.
Number one, you see, the media has repeated that Sonko refused the 25 million. But when you looked at the party at Uhuru Park, it cost more than 25 million. Just looking at the people, looking at what was happening, looking at the media coverage. I mean, come on. So did you audit to see that in fact 25 million was not used? You see, this is just a PR exercise repeated by the media that he rebuffed. He had no power to say no to the transition. He was not the governor, and he could not stop anybody from spending the 25 million. And from looking at the party, I believe they spent more than 25 million. Having said that, it is unfortunate that our legislators like Honorable Linturi keeps talking about laws. We have enough laws in this country. What we lack are enforcement mechanisms and women and men of integrity to carry out their duties without fear or favor. For example, we have enough institutions to enforce the criminal code, the penal code.
Yes.
We have the police, we have the EACC, we have many institutions, including the DPP, that are supposed to apprehend criminals, land grabbers, people stealing public assets. And if you look at the Auditor General's report, he has presented more than enough evidence that could have led to nearly all the governors, probably with the exception of Kivutha Kibwana, being put in for stealing public assets. So, but none of them has been convicted. A number of them are facing allegations and even charges in court, and they are back elected as governors. There are people who are fired, like Charity Ngilu, on allegations of corruption, who have been elected. There are people like Anne Waiguru, who are alleged to have stolen billions of Kenya shillings with credible evidence that they actually looted and plundered public resources, elected as governors. The fact is, we don't lack laws. We lack men and women of integrity in these positions. And here is the problem. For example, why is it that the EACC is not functioning the way it was supposed to be? Because the head of the EACC, the chair, the executive director, and all the employees are hired. And the people that recommend them for hiring are basically the cartels. You go to the DPP, the same. So these institutions are run by the cartels. To be able to dismantle these cartels, Kenyans must embrace leaders of integrity, must put them in positions of responsibility, must capacitate them so that they hire people of integrity to be able to deal with this. So yes, according to the Auditor General, we lost hundreds, in fact, by the last count, it was 200 billion from the governors, just stealing public resources and assets, from budgets to land to illegal contracts to all manner of things.
All right, we have 5 minutes to wind up, and I want us also to just comment on this particular cartoon that we have in the.
I don't want to comment on cartoon because I don't want Miguna to run away with this. Because, you know, people have a lot of respect for Miguna. And Miguna has a very deceiving looks. And when people look at him out there, they may take whatever he says to be the
truth.
The gospel of truth. Yes. So he can even run away with murder. And this is, and this is what I want to really remind him. Because of the stature that you really acquired for yourself, kindly use this desk or these shows really to educate the public.
And that's what I'm doing.
Because now, from what you've just said, you know, I see and thank God that people never elected you as a governor of Nairobi. Because you would have ran this country or this town with all the impunity. Because you appear to be the face and the lord of impunity, yet you really preach the rule of law. So you are being a lawyer.
Explain to us how.
Yes, being a lawyer, you are very sure or aware that the law presumes you to be innocent until proved guilty.
But this guy's been
you
convicted.
Are aware. Listen then.
He has been convicted.
Let me make the other comment. You are aware Article 99 and 133 is so clear to the extent that to tell you, even if you are convicted and the avenues of appeal have not been exhausted, then you cannot
be. He was convicted in 1998. He did not appeal. He was sentenced to jail. He ran away from jail.
All right.
So what I'm saying is this. No, but this is important. But the man has not denied these things. They're on the public record, and if you go to court in Mombasa, you will find his record of 1998.
That is one.
So
that is one governor. But still, remember, you have dropped many other names for other governors.
No,
those are just allegations.
I said the Auditor General has produced credible evidence that if we had competent people and ethical people running these institutions, this guy should have been arrested.
Thank you very much.
All right, any evidence that has not been tested and that has not been proved, then may not have any probative value.
All right, let's leave it at that. Thank you very much.
All
right, Philip Kisia, as we're winding up, I want you to comment on this particular cartoon. Miguna talks about cartels, and it seems also looking at what Munene has done for us in the Daily Nation. There you have it on the screen there. On the screen over there. You have the cartels as well in that dilapidated rickety car that you, of course, also is on top of the stones over there. How do we deal with these particular cartels? And do you think Igathe Sonko team will try and also banish the cartels as well?
Well, I think we'd be lying if you say that most of these institutions are free of cartels. It is true that the cartels are there. Yes. But I think there are a few things that somebody providing leadership will require to deal with the cartels. One is to develop systems and procedures. Document them. Because once you have systems, you force people to operate within the systems and procedures. Number two, then you need competency. You need managers who are competent to deliver based on the framework that you have given. Thirdly, to assist you fight cartels and corruption, you need to institutionalize the work against corruption. And in this case, there's a program called Integrity Testing Program that is run by Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. If you bring this one on board and you have a secretariat and you believe in clean leadership and you believe that you have capacity to fight leadership, I believe the cartels will run away. But if you think that you can fight corruption as an individual, you'll be frustrated. You'll probably be admitted even before a week lapses. So please develop systems. Systems. We leave it at that.
Cartels need not run away. They should be in jail.
They should be in jail. Thank you very much. Also, Mithika Linturi, I want to thank you this morning for coming through. Senator-elect Meru County, Miguna, lawyer, and also Philip Kisia, former town clerk of Nairobi. Thank you very much for your valid company this morning, and also for you sharing your morning as well. I can see also a rush of tweets. Thank you for them as well. We really do appreciate it. Thank you for watching Decision 2070 this morning.